Okay.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. It's 2 minutes after 7. So, guys, welcome to Elevate Week 2. Yay! Y'all give
Yeah.
yourself, like, I want to see some claps going on. Like, we made it through the first week, right? All right, let's do this again. I want to see some claps and some woo. Oh, there we go. Rachel,
I'm holding my
go.
phone. I'm holding my phone. I got to set it.
Well, hold it with one and go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Just because if you're not enthusiastic about this, then it's going to show in the rest of your business because this is the best part of your Pampered Chef business is sharing the business. Okay. And actually the best part, guys, is you showed up tonight. That's what we're excited about. That's what we're celebrating. So, all right. Y'all ready to get started, get this rolling? All right.
Yeah,
So
I am.
nod your head if you survived week 1 with the recruiting. Okay. So quick little note. We are pampered, not perfect. When I put the call to action in there, we changed it so that you will always see the recordings and things like that to get your mind in the right place. I totally dropped off that you needed to make 10 recruiting contacts a day. Sorry about that. So Donna brought it to my attention today, and because one of her team members brought it up to her. So I apologize about that. So 10 recruiting contacts a day. And I'll just touch on that really quick because I don't think we touched on it. Totally skipping off, but I want to just kind of, don't want you to be afraid about that. 10 contacts a day can mean just looking in your Facebook, ask all of your friends, ask your family members, ask your host. So don't try to get too overcomplicated and go, oh my gosh, I've got to find 10 people that I've got to talk to about the business. You do, but make it easy at first so that you are not stressed and overwhelmed. I love it that Jamie is nodding her head. Yes, I'm giving you permission to ask your best friends. I'm giving you permission to ask your, coworkers. I'm giving you permission to ask people that you feel really comfortable. That will help transition you into asking the strangers. Okay. All right. So, who had, and you can raise your hand if you are, I think just Jennifer and Teresa are the only two that aren't on camera, but raise your hand or raise your hand in the chat or in the reaction if you had some really good recruiting contacts this past week. Like, did you have it doesn't mean that they signed up, but did you have a recruiting conversation that you felt good about?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the voice. Thank you. Yes. Yes. And maybe the conversation did not yield in a lead or a hot lead or anything like that. But if you felt good and proud of yourself, that is something to celebrate. Okay. Right? Rachel's nodding her head because that can be that's the hard spot. It's the hard spot. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised how easy it was and I didn't do 10 a day, but just to kind of think back to people and almost do a copy and paste, but make it a little personal with every person and just say, I just wanted to share what we have special going on in September. I know we talked before, so it doesn't really take that much time.
And the payout, guys, let me tell you, when you start finding your tribe and you start building your team, if you're thinking, wow, this is a lot, you don't even want to know how much it helps your bottom line on your commission check. Leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
I make more for my team than I do my personal sales.
Wow.
So that is working smarter, not harder. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with hitting this level right here with my sales and help the others. Okay, so that's super, super important. But all right, but so when we're talking about leads, we're going to talk really quick and I'm going to explain all of this because I think I touched on it last week. But we want to and we might not have. I know I touched it on my director call. So Donna, if I miss anything, you'll remember that. So you want to section out your leads into 3 sections. Okay, you want to have your hot leads, So a hot lead's pretty obvious, right? Hot lead is a hot lead. Then you got your warm leads. Okay, they're kind of like, not hanging up on you and not turning their head on you, right? So that's a warm lead. Hot lead is somebody that you're really carrying on a good conversation with. Now, a cold lead is not somebody necessarily that turns their head, but they may be a no, not right now, maybe later on. And they could actually be somebody that didn't shut you down. So I say if they've completely shut you out of the business period, they might not be even a cold lead. But if they have, at least communicated with you about that, so, I'd still put them on your cold lead because the reason is life changes every single day. You never know what can happen tomorrow. We don't have any idea. So it's very important to, even if they're like, well, I don't think so, thanks for asking. They're still they're still going to probably sit there on my lead, especially if you've got a good feeling about them. Kelly, Donna, you got anything to add to the leads before we go on?
Just don't be afraid to put their name in a category
No.
because we never want to not forget, we don't want to forget about somebody that you could come back a year from now and ask and they could say yes. So just don't be afraid to put that name down under hot, cold, or warm.
Something, right? And
Mhm.
make a note of it. Always make a note of your conversation, even if they're really not falling in your categories. Ooh. Um, just put them on your contact list as your recruiting contacts because you may be like, well, I don't really have anybody on my list to talk to. You can flip over to those people that you used to talk to. So, Kelly, I'm gonna let you take it over.
Okay, so tonight we're going to chat a little bit about questions you can ask potential team members to encourage them to open up and chat with you a little bit more about considering this business opportunity. So here are some suggestions of questions you can ask when having those conversations. And we will put these questions, are we going to do it in the group or in the chat? Probably the group, I would think, huh? Yeah, so we're going to add them to the group, Cheryl said. Okay, so these will be posted, so don't feel like you need to feverishly write them down or anything. So questions to ask are, number one, have you ever considered doing something like PC before? Number two, what intrigues you about the idea of doing Pampered Chef? And remember last week too, I said you can always follow up with this kind of stuff saying, I wouldn't be doing my job if I asked. So then that doesn't make it feel so icky, if you will. Do you know what I mean? Like you're salesy or whatever. What concerns you about doing Pampered Chef? And a lot of times for me, I will just say, make a list of everything you're worried about. And then we can talk about them. Just, for the next couple of days, blah, 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 write it out. What concerns you? Number 4, do you have any other questions or are you ready to go ahead and order your kit today? That one is crucial because sometimes you just need to know if they need to know how to get started. Like, do you just need my link? Do you need to know where to go on my website? Or did you have some questions? Because sometimes we overthink things then and we take them to the dark side because we went blah, 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 blah. You don't want to do that. They might just need to know where to click on your website. Okay. Number 5, what if you got a kit today and we could help you line up some parties and you can have your first commission check on October 7th or blah, blah, blah. What do you think? Always kind of ending in a question too is good. So you get that response back. So other good follow-up questions too are, have you seen things like, have you seen the new consultant kit? Especially now that we have the new kit options now. You should be, reaching back to anybody that's on your list in the past to say, hey, we got new stuff. And, you can start as little as, free really, or 50. Would your hubby, partner, or support person support you in this? Sometimes that's a question to ask, kind of depending on how your conversation goes with that person. What questions or concerns would they have? I'm sure there's a lot of dads out there that are like, how many times a week am I going to have to watch the kids? That's what virtual world, at least we're not out as much as we used to be. That used to be a big, thing.
Mhm.
If you had an extra $200 to $500 a month, what would you do with it? Anything fun? And I always tell them I play a game and my live cooking shows. And I ask them that, if you had an extra, $100 a month, if you had an extra $500 a month, I say to them right at the party, I say, would you blow it? Would you save it? Would you, is there something you'd be saving it for? Seriously, be honest with me. Cause I at my parties, I like for people to hear the other things that people would do with it, because it really proves the point that anybody could want to do this. It could just be for different reasons. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be so you can be a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't have to be because you need to pay off your kids' student loans or something. They can use it for fun money if they want. And that's okay. So it's kind of nice to bring that up. And what would you like it for? And my other thing, I learned this phrase in a spotlight training last fall, I believe it was, or it might have been one of our North American leader calls. And that particular consultant said, ask the question, and this is something you can even ask team members sometimes, what do you want this business to do for you? Asking it that way, I think is really, even sometimes when you have, crabby times with a consultant or they're really frustrated about something, let's go back to your why and what do you want this business to do for you? So that's an important one. I really, like I said, write that one down because that one's been a game changer for me this year. If I could help brainstorm ideas and how to come up with money for the kit, would that be helpful? So that's another one. Another one, what do you feel might be holding you back from just giving it a shot and seeing what happens? And again, I'm going to take you back to what I talked about last week with that waitress and the ketchup. Always kind of think about that in this part, is somebody really going to get mad at you? So I can use that kind of same thing with a potential recruit and say, are you worried about, asking people to have parties because there's really somebody going to get mad at you for wanting them, for you wanting to help fill their kitchen with awesome tools? No, they're not going to get mad at you for that. And nobody's going to be like, I am never talking to you again. You asked me to do a Pampered Chef party. Are you kidding me? That's not going to happen. So at least I hope not. Geez, I hope not. So, okay. Did anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Cheryl's going to go next.
I'm going to just add one more thing to that. And I think we need to add this to our information that we share. So one thing I heard actually yesterday as I was painting was, maybe somebody is not, maybe they're comfortable. Maybe they're comfortable in their finances. Maybe they're just at a point in their life that it's like, that honestly, I mean, that would be kind of cool. I'm not really even needing any extra money. Everything's, working out really well. But what if they could use that money to give more at church or to give more to a shelter or to, maybe be able to go and purchase foods and meals and do a meal delivery for the elderly or those that just can't. So, think about people, when you're looking at people that maybe they're retired or they appear to have all that, they may want to be a servant in a whole different way. So as you were reading, I thought, oh, wait, I heard this. I heard this. I wanted to share that because a lot of times we don't think about things like that. Maybe they're just use the money and then give more. Maybe that's what they want to do. Okay. All right, guys. So let's talk about screenshots. This is so important because we want you to feel comfortable coming to us. We want you to feel comfortable with everybody else that is in this group because this is like summer camp. You can't go home. You're stuck with us for another 2 weeks after this. You just got to. It is what it is. So get very comfortable with it and don't be afraid of what you share. Because if I don't have the answer, maybe Donna doesn't have the answer, or Kelly or Jill or whoever, maybe Samantha has the answer, or Jenny's got something that it worked well for her. We're talking about screenshots. So keep in mind that when somebody gives you an objection, they're not saying no to you. They're saying, tell me why I should. Or I'm interested, but I have a fear I need to overcome. And another thing, when somebody tells you no, you're going to hear me say this time and time again, it is just as hard for them to tell you no as it is for you to hear the word no. You know, if you ask your BFF about the business, how do you think they're going to feel telling their BFF no? So think about that. And a stranger may even feel even worse. So, so we live in a side gig. Really don't like that word. Might have to change that. Economy, and many people are looking for something else, something to add a little bit more to their finances. So it is our job as consultants, not just to cook, not just to share products and freebies and specials, but it's our job to see if Pampered Chef would be a good fit for them. Do you ever think about your business that way? Or do you think about it selling the food chopper, getting the people in the party? This is the other side of our business. So I believe that even if it is not for them, it is for them to try because they never know until they do. I think back to when I started Pampered Chef, totally like it was a knee-jerk reaction for me to put that maybe on the door prize slip. Had no desire to do anything like this. And that was 23 years ago. I just got to keep sharing that. And it every day reinstills that why I did this. So the most common concerns of people are money and time. Okay. So for the time, I would say something like, hey, I totally get it. I totally get it. But the beautiful thing about Pampered Chef is that it comes along right alongside of everything else that you've already got going on in life. We got to cook anyway, right? We could run our business like you could just flip on your phone and you don't even have to record your face, but you can record everything that you're cooking. People are always putting on Facebook. They're looking for recipes. They're looking what to cook. So anyway, let me go back. I just went off a little bit. But you can do this as little or as much as you like. If you've been around Pampered Chef for a long time, have you ever scaled back a little bit on your business? Or have you done it full throttle since you started? I can promise you I have scaled back. There's been a couple of times I've scaled back, but I never stopped. So like I said, you can do as little as or as much as you want. It is super duper flexible. And even more so now. I mean, if somebody just wanted to like kind of take a leave for 6 months, they can. You know, that's not great for your business, but you can do that. So you would follow up with a question, something like, if you had it, like Kelly said, if you had an extra $200 to $500 a month, what would you do with it? Would you do anything fun with it? So now, if money is the issue, say something like, oh, I totally know how that goes. I know it can be hard to get the funds to order a kit, but now they're like $50. Guys, you can't buy that bar pan, that stoneware large bar pan for $50. Then you get all the other stuff with it. And like Kelly said, or for free. So, but you know, you can literally have a paycheck in 2 weeks. Like if you started today, if somebody started today, they could have a paycheck on the 21st. That is less than 2 weeks. Have you ever thought about that? Think about when somebody talks about that objection or of money, they can have a paycheck super duper quick. Now, do you know anyone that might be willing to invest? You know, some like if you're talking to somebody like maybe say, do you know of anybody that would be willing to invest in you? Or maybe give you an early birthday or early Christmas present, or even just a loan to get the kit and then you pay them back when you get your commission check. All right. Hands raised. Have you ever said that to anybody? All right. I know I have. And I felt weird at first, but I'm like, if I needed some money, I would have asked my mom back then. You know, I would have asked her, like, hey, I want to do this, especially if she knew that I was going to start my own business and she believed in me, which most moms do. Or what about the idea of doing some spring cleaning? Oh my gosh, is there anything in your closet you can pull out or anything in your garage? Selling some items on Facebook. Oh my gosh, you just post something on Facebook and it's like piranhas are going after it. And then it's like, I want it next, I want it next, I want it next. Or put together some funds or maybe even have like a yard sale, something like that. So if you can talk to them about why they want to give it a try and get them dreaming, they would find a way to get around that obstacle. The key is to guide the conversation and ask more questions. You're not being pushy, you're not being bossy, you're just simply trying to solve the problem. And that's what we do as consultants. I once heard an executive say, there is a recruit at every show. You ready? Can anybody finish this one for me? No directors. There's a recruit at every party or every show, but is there a recruiter? You got to make sure that you are a recruiter at your parties. All right. And I've been listening to that, for 20 something years. So keep sharing from your heart and have fun. If you get stuck, share those screenshots. If you feel more comfortable sending them to your upline, send them to your upline. But guys, I want to encourage you to share some screenshots in the messenger group. Let everybody see your questions, because then when the answer comes to you, or somebody answers your question, you're going to be helping Kathy, and you're going to be helping Jenny, and you're going to be helping Kendra. So don't think you're the only person that's getting those objections. Up to 90% of the people are going to say no at first. And I promise you, it's at first. Second, and possibly the third time that we ask. Always the first time, always. But it's important to continue to ask. Keep asking. Don't get discouraged, because the more you're asking them, the more you're knowing about them. And the more comfortable you're getting with them, and the more comfortable they're getting with you. So if you're not signing anybody yet, keep doing it. Keep talking. Keep having those conversations, because it's going to come. Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, it's my turn. I was waiting on you to say it's my turn. And I thought, well, she ain't saying. Okay, I'm doing the call to action for this week, and keep sending the recruiting messages, or actually start sending the recruiting messages if you was looking for that in the call to action. But it's 10 recruiting messages 5 days a week. So that would be 50 a week. So if some people take the weekend off, but if you work the weekend, just mix them and match them wherever. If you, take a day off, double up the next day or something, but send 10 per day, 5 days a week, and continue to book parties. Now, we learned about booking parties in the first section of Elevate, so just continue that along. And I feel like a lot of y'all probably got some good systems in place from the first portion of Elevate. So work on that, booking the parties, and then continue to track both. So that way you will know what you're doing, who to follow up with. So make sure you have some kind of really good tracking system, whether it's digital or paper. And then we're going to have something else to listen to. And I will tell you, you will want to listen to this again and again. I'm actually excited to listen to it again, even though I listened to it 2 times the last Elevate, but it's about recruiting, and it's the why and the how with Ellington Boyce and Becky Hahn. So it is very, very good, and it will be in your call to action click on that. Now, if you can't listen to all of it at one sitting, just, take note of where you're at so you can fast forward. Don't think you have to, sit down and listen to every bit. But, if you have a drive to somewhere, drive to work or drive to wherever, you can listen to it in your car. So that's a good opportunity to, anytime I'm going anywhere, I always make sure I'm ready for something to listen to. So that is our call to action. Yeah, what are questions we have? Anybody have any questions? Everybody's quiet as mouses.
I'm going to put a little light on this lights, make it a little light subject right now, just because I can't help myself. Jamie, it's so cute when you look forward right now, because it looks with the way that your TV is back there. It looks like you have a graduation cap on.
That is so funny, y'all. Like, I am living out of my mom's basement and I'm kind of mortified about what's behind me. And I have rearranged this area with my mom so many times so that when I'm on these calls, you guys are not like,
it's
where
just
is
funny.
this woman at? And I didn't even think
where I'm
I've
like,
got something else to be paranoid about. Next week, you'll see me with the flag like this.
it was just one of those things, and I'm like, it totally.
That's
looks like
hilarious.
it totally looks like a graduation cap.
I've moved
Sorry.
my office because the windows that I'm now looking out of had this big glare on me, and it was driving one of my team members crazy the other day on a call, and I'm like keep trying to move everything around, so it's a struggle. So, and this is driving me crazy.
I just said on the call when I first got on, I kept going like this, but it's the lamp.
Yeah. I got a plant, like I could have a plant growing out of my head.
Because I'm sitting in my bed, you know what I mean? I'm like sitting in my bed right now. So yeah,
Right.
sorry, I just had to put a little light on this.
That's okay.
It's just cute, super cute. So, but nobody has any questions. I did say, somebody did put in the chat, Samantha did, that she said, I've even like partially paid for a kit. You can offer stuff like that too. I've even used the phrase I put in here. I've used like, like somebody tells me they're really struggling and I know that they, don't have enough money. I've even said things like, I'm going to give you, I have a golden ticket and I'm going to help you with that. So I've given them so much off the cost of their kit, or sometimes there's been situations where I've just given them a kit, and I've even done things sometimes too, where I've like said, if you qualify in your first 30 days, I'll give you the cost of your kit back. I've done stuff like that. Not all the time, believe me, but certain situations I have done that. So.
I do want to throw this out there. Did y'all see the new lookbook that's come out?
Yep.
It's our new virtual opportunity brochure. It's called the lookbook. So you want to go find it. I think you can find it in the STIR, but it should be under this season's resource guide, right?
I think so. And I think if you just click on your how I be a consultant page,
yeah,
that's where it is.
So I just got to ask, I just want to ask this. Has everybody really studied the different kits that we've got? Are y'all very familiar with the kits? Hello? Are y'all very familiar with the kits?
Not quite.
Kinda.
No.
Okay.
Kinda.
Well, I don't mean every stinking product in there, but take a look at the kits. What stands out? Well, the starter kit or the stoneware launch bundle, the large bar pan, the cast iron bundle, the cast iron pan, the air fryer bundle. What stands out? The air fryer, the grill launch bundle. What stands out, guys?
The
The
DAG.
grill.
Right, the DAG, the grill. Okay. Does anybody have any idea where I'm going with this?
Pay attention to people's wants.
Yes. Because when you look at what they're wanting and you're looking at the power tool that's in the kit, it is less. They're going to get more with the kit than they're going to get if they spend the money on that. And we're not in the business to sell kits. That's not what I'm saying, because you never want to say that. You never, ever want to be like, oh, you can just buy a kit. No, let's partner together and add up all the things that they can get, really talk to them about that. If you're trying to figure out who are these 10 people I'm going to ask, hopefully you're paying attention to what they're wanting in the party, what they're commenting on, what their wish list items are, and pair it with the kits and, see if they will give it a try. All right, we're getting done really early, and I just want to take a couple of minutes. Donna, don't shoot me. But is everybody asking people? Are you all asking people to join you? Okay. Yes. Heads nod. I just want to see them. I want to see some bobbleheads. Okay, bobbleheads. Are y'all still afraid to ask people? Windshield wipers. No. Okay. All right. Melissa, come off mute. I want to hear you. If you are going to ask me about the business, ask me. I want to hear what you're saying.
Have you ever, excuse me, I didn't have my speech prepared.
Sorry.
Have you ever thought about giving Pampered Chef a try?
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You get an A+. Keep it simple. Great job. Great job. Does anybody else say anything any different? Not that it would be wrong, but does anybody else say anything that they would like to share? And I had no idea. We did not rehearse that. Not talked to Melissa since last week. So.
Can I ask a question, Cheryl? This is something I've said to a couple of people, and it kind of, like Kelly said, it kind of makes me feel like I'm not being so pushy, but I wondered if it was okay to say, like, to tell people, most people don't say yes. If I've talked to them like several times before, to say to them, I know myself that most people don't say yes until they're asked, maybe even 10 to 15 times. So that's why I'm checking back with you to see if anything's changed. And then I don't feel like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she's asking me again. So that's an okay way to approach it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just think about it. Like, how would it make you feel? If it's going to make you feel icky, then it's probably going to make somebody else feel icky. So if it doesn't make you feel icky, then it's not.
Okay.
So yeah, let them know, like, things change.
Right.
Things change. If I would have been at that party maybe a week before that I went where I met Jill, I may not have signed up. But whatever it was that day, I mean, and I didn't sign up that day. Lord, it took me like 6 weeks. No, it was June. I didn't sign up till August. So it took me like a good while. So you do see how this works. And I went to Jill and said, maybe on the door prize slip. Filled out one of these boogers. I don't even know where it's at. I've got several of them laying around here. Checked maybe on the door prize slip. Was not a rock star guest. Did not speak to anybody. Spent about $25-$30. I didn't buy big power tools. I mean, I just bought a couple of things and I checked maybe. She reached out to me. She reached out to me again. She reached out to me again. I don't remember how many times. And then I had to think about it. So I didn't sign up the first time. And I went to her and said maybe. So if you have somebody like you met at a vendor event or on the party and they said, yeah, maybe I'm interested, or I'm an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 if you say that, and they put you off, think of Cheryl. Think of Cheryl.
And
Think
actually,
of me.
it helps me to think of myself because Janine asked me and I was just a guest in a party that was participating and kept saying I loved Pampered Chef. And I'm like, what if she wouldn't have asked me, So I have to remind myself of that, there are people out there that aren't even as obvious as the people who are, raising their hands and checking the box or whatever, so.
Yeah, most people don't jump up and down. And I've got one gal that said, oh my gosh, she wants to sign up and I can't get a straight answer out of her. So then I'm like, whatever. But Rachel, you brought up a good point, and I think everybody would love to hear this because, okay, y'all can either you're going to bobblehead or you're going to windshield wiper. How many of you ask guests in a party? How many of you are talking to guests in a party about the business? There's probably a lot of, there are, okay. Bobbleheads, okay. I figured there might be some of these. Melissa's kind of like a,
Yeah.
And I am too. I don't ask. So, Rachel, would you share? I mean, it's been over a year, but do you remember kind of how Janine brought it up?
You know, I don't remember. I think she messaged me and just said, I think she did the typical rock star. Hey, you've been a rock star in this party. I notice you love the products. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? I think that's pretty much exactly what she said. And honestly, I hadn't, but I was familiar with Pampered Chef. And when she said that, I thought, well, not really, but and she kind of, there was a special going on. I joined I had to join by April 15th because there was some kind of a special going on where you got the kit for 99 or something. I don't remember. And so there was kind of an urgency, which I think sometimes is good, you know. And so first I said no, and she was good. She came back to me with, I said, no, I'm too busy. And she came back to me and asked me, well, you know, and I found that sheet that was posted very helpful with the responses to the question, give me something to work from. But she basically did that, you know, and she wasn't pushy at all. And she, you know, she just kind of said, well, you know, you do sound like you're busy, but think about it. And if you decide you know, you want to change your mind. And so I thought about it and thought, well, I better do it if I want this great deal.
I love that. I really love that. And Rachel, just how far after you signed up with Pampered Chef did you promote to director?
About a year.
Okay.
And I had no interest in recruiting and no interest in promoting. I was just going to sell and be happy about that. So it kind of took me a while to kind of work up to that. But boy, I love the benefits of being a director. I got to tell you.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that was, I think it was about a year for me before I promoted to director because
Yeah.
I didn't, but now I'm like, wow, there's too much on the table to leave there to give
Yeah.
back to Pampered Chef.
Yes.
So sorry, I derailed a little bit, but I just thought that y'all were super quiet and sometimes that might mean that you might be a little afraid to ask questions. And so was this little off script helpful to you guys? Maybe hearing Rachel's story? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I'm glad I took us off script, guys, just for a minute. Okay. Well, I will post everything in the call to action. Listen, if something's not there and you're like, I know it should be there, let us know. Let me know. I'm not perfect by a far, but hopefully, like the next round of this, we'll have it all ready mostly. But anyway, but make those contacts. Don't be afraid. If you get stuck or need a pep talk, reach up, and let us help you because I can assure you that Kelly and Donna and Jill and everybody we've all um whoa, blank, we've all experienced that kind of like, what do we do now? I don't know what to do, or I'm feeling a little stuck, or I need a little push, or I need a shove or a pull or something like that. So that's all I got, guys. Y'all got anything? No questions?
Need an oil control.
It's okay. It's live. It's live.
All right. I'm gonna